That's taken care of. Public participation. If anyone has anything that's not on the agenda, now would be the appropriate time to raise it.
I think that's your copy.
It is, I just got this one. This is a different order of business. Nobody seeing anything, we will pass on to the next matter. New business, application 1762. Gonna set this on fire or what? It's a new application. So we'll accept the application, we will set a site visit. And could you give us a quick description of what it is?
Yeah, we've got to first vote it into the agenda.
Oh,
That
why?
one, there's the revised one. It didn't make it onto the listing one, so we just have to,
Oh, okay. So, all right, I'll move that we add application 1762 to the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No one opposed. It passes. Okay, now it's on the agenda. So we accept the application, and we will set a site visit, and if the enforcement officer gives a quick idea of what this is about, that would be nice.
absolutely. So there is a downed tree and a large root ball that was taken out by one of the numerous storms we've had. And so that is actually coming up against the structure of their deck, and it is causing a problem. So they put in the application to go through the proper channels to remove the tree from the water course, and it's just scheduling the site visits from here, getting eyes on it, and
Fine, just get it done. That's an easy one.
perfect.
Application 1761. Application from Mr. Sullivan to, I saw this afternoon. It's a minor expansion of something that's already been permitted. We looked at it pretty carefully. I don't see any reason to do anything with it except approve it as a, what do we call it, minor?
So it's currently under the maintenance and restoration application that would ultimately be accepted and then would go through the 2-month procedure process. But since it is just the parking area and a concrete pad, would the commission be willing to move that to a minimal activity to be covered administratively instead of through the commission?
And it's like 95 feet from the water course.
Just about.
The area's been, well, as long as I've been here, it's been nothing. It's just flat and it floods periodically. So I don't really see any problem with doing that, so
Okay.
let's do it.
We already have a permit,
Yeah, so there,
maintenance.
It's where they're
Correct.
putting up the new self-storage building next to the library.
Yep.
They're
Okay.
they're putting it, it's basically a place to put the dumpster. And it
Right.
intrudes about 5-6 feet into the 100-foot setback. That's all it is. It's nothing. And there's nothing there anyway, hasn't been forever. Okay, let's turn to old business, application 1759, River Trail, 21
real
River
quick.
Trail.
Can we just get a motion on the transfer, and the applicant is here in case anyone has?
Oh, do we need to do that? Okay, I'll move to transfer it.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Welcome, Mike.
Sorry. Last minute call.
That happens. Okay, we'll go to application 1759 on River Trail. This is for basically removal of some junk. You're going, okay, good. Is anybody here to present this? Somebody? Nobody?
This is,
I didn't go out there, I don't know
this
what
is
it.
the cease and desist that we had, that we lifted. And now
Correct.
this is it for the permit.
So this is more of a paperwork process that we've got to approve the resolution, so this one can move forward. There hasn't been any action out there since. They've really just been stabilizing. They've put down a nice layer of wood chips to prevent further erosion. They've still got the soil erosion controls up, so in my opinion, I'm happy with the way that the site is, and it would just be a motion on the resolution at this point.
I'm unclear, what are we approving?
So this was the application that came to us originally as a cease and desist, where
Yeah.
a trail was made down to the river, sort of the public park area that's down there. And so there was a large disturbance. We issued the cease and desist. They had come to us with an application to cover sort of all of the planting and scope of work in there. We had a secondary site visit as part of the application process. And at this point, it's just making a motion on the resolution.
Oh, to approve the resolution. that all we are? And there
Correct.
are no further issues?
Nope.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not gonna move on. Somebody else would like to?
That,
Excuse me. I went on one of those two visits that you made out there, and I think it was we gave them a couple of different choices, and I think they're doing the right thing now.
Okay. Okay, would you like to move to approve the resolution then?
I move that we approve the resolution to application 1759 River Trail.
Somebody second?
I'll second it.
Dan
I'm
seconds?
sorry, what are we moving to do? Close to cease and desist?
No,
This is closed, the
Okay.
work
Yes.
is done.
this is the
The work
permit.
is done.
We're signing off on, basically signing off on the,
Do we have anything in here that shows or indicates?
I have no idea, not that I know of.
I don't see any kind of a
I believe
plan or
Dan
anything,
has been out there.
unless I'm missing it.
Just as a side note, we appear to be
the
fighting
work is
for
done.
audio from the other room, so if everyone can just speak clearly into the microphone, that'll help with the minutes at the end of this. Thank you.
So this here was the pathway
Yeah.
that was created down to the public property here.
Oh, I remember
You've got
this.
the river here,
We had some
they've moved some
photographs showing where
trees.
this had been put in.
Yep,
Mhm.
correct, there was disturbance of the soil, cease and desist, stopped all work
Okay.
there. She had come back to us ultimately with the plan, describing what would be going on the site. There was no additional work going on except for adding plantings and the soil erosion control, and even at this point, there's no additional work really
Okay.
happening there besides maybe some plantings here or there.
Yeah,
There's
is it-
a lot of work up at the driveway, but that's not,
That's-
The erosion
Correct.
concerns have been addressed?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
They took
Okay.
care of those, I think, before the last meeting.
Yep,
Planted,
The
yep.
controls are in and there's chips spread, so I was very happy to see that.
I will second the motion if you still need one.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, that made the motion. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody opposed, motion passes. We will go on to application F2027 Southford Road. Mr. Pierce? There you are. Would you care to just give us a couple of minutes of telling us what happened? If you go up to the podium and give us your name and all those good things.
So on August,
Identify yourself, please.
oh, sorry, this is Michael Pierce, 278 Southwood Road.
Thank you.
August 19th, a retention pond wall or something broke up above us, bringing down a huge wave of water, sort of following the brook. Ended up coming up across our property, into our garage, across the front of the property, and across the other side of the road. And then we are currently getting pretty close to having the house fixed, but now we're looking to have the yard repaired with, we want some boulder rock put along the brook for erosion prevention. We want to reset a bridge that crosses to the other side of our backyard. Replace, that was a previously permitted bridge, and just put it back on the footings that are still there. And then rebuild shed and greenhouse, again, on the other side of the backside of our property.
And you're gonna rebuild the bridge crossing that was washed out?
Well, I can't, it's gonna have to be done with.
Someone's going to do
Yes,
it?
yes,
Okay. And I think there were I-beams in the stream bed that had to be taken
yes.
out? And
Yes,
those will be reutilized for the new bridge?
yes.
Okay. It was a complete wipeout. The whole backyard was gone.
And a good
So
portion
they're
of the
just
front.
trying to restore it to where it was. It's pretty straightforward, as far as I'm concerned. A few questions to Mr. Pierce, anybody?
No?
No? Okay, I'll move to approve the application and let the family proceed with trying to fix their house back up.
Michael, did you discuss the modifications to the crossing? I had to step out for just a moment.
I didn't, because,
So we'll need to discuss that as a a change to the application, and I would just advise you present it to the commission, otherwise you will be locked into the resolution as it was stated for
Okay,
the original
we
plan.
can't hear you. You're making changes to the application?
It's not necessarily a change. We have, Southbury Land Services is going to be the one that we're contracting with to do the work. He had come out and I explained to him what we had talked about in the site visit. And he was just asking if the culvert and temporary crossing was a necessary step to getting back and forth across the backyard. The alternative would be to go with the equipment across the creek.
I'm sorry, I could not hear that.
So currently, the way that the application stands is that there will be a temporary crossing installed to allow the machinery to cross the
Yeah, that's what we had
embankment.
discussed.
But what is currently being recommended as a modification to that is the request to just have the truck kind of go through there, across the stream to the other side of their rear yard and operate that way, and then come back. If,
Through the water.
Through the
correct,
water.
through the water.
But yes, that makes sense to me, but I saw it. The original property it's gone. You're not upsetting anything. You could drive a tank through there and it wouldn't make any difference. Because that entire, how high was that wall of water? 10 feet as it came through there at that point? It just took everything out. So there's no fisheries, there's no nothing except debris. That's what it is, and I think crossing through the stream, as far as I'm concerned, would be fine. Anybody else care to?
So you're opting not to,
It wasn't even my suggestion, it was the contractors who was just saying it would just,
Saves them some trouble and some time and some money.
Yep.
yeah.
And they've got more than enough expense in this, it's a nightmare. It's fortunate the house stayed up.
I just hope that the water's never so deep that you can't cross it.
It's
No, it's.
this deep.
yeah,
For now.
yeah.
Right, I
Yeah.
saw it, Yeah, I saw
yeah.
it, yeah, I was there.
There's a notation in here, the applicant would like to build a new shed and greenhouse with zoning approval.
Yes.
Where would that be located? Is this considered to be floodplain behind your home here?
It never was.
Well, is that where you're intending to put the shed and the greenhouse?
Yes, it was a previously permitted shed in the back left-hand corner of the yard. We were thinking about moving it a little bit further towards the middle and having the contractor use some of these big boulder rocks to kind of line the edge of the property where the creek, if it did get too high from 4, 5, 6 inches of rain, keep it from coming up over the backyard again and just wiping everything out again.
I don't think it's gonna be extraordinary, but we ought to have more than, I wanna put something in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make a proposal, if you don't mind. Since we don't have plans for the shed and greenhouse, I'd like to not approve that now, and wait until we can get those from you, so we have some idea of what's going in there. Is that okay with you?
Yes, is that a new application and
don't-
everything? Or
It would call for another application. I just don't wanna go through and approve something where we have no idea. I don't think you're gonna be unreasonable, don't misunderstand me, but we should have some idea of what's proposed, dimensions, proximity to the water course, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm sure it is applicable.
If it wasn't, it is now.
Okay,
If
so
it
with
wasn't,
that,
it should be, right?
with that amendment, so if there is any reference in the resolution, I think we'll delete that. I would approve the application as made.
Can I just add one thing?
Please.
As far as the temporary crossing, rather than using or allowing the equipment to go through the stream, rather than using the temporary crossing, are there any thoughts on using any sort of sedimentation control or turbidity curtains on the downstream side? Because you're gonna be stirring up siltation and things like that as you're crossing through the water, and deep usually doesn't like, regardless of how deep the water is, of traversing without such
turbidity curtains are a typical erosion control that's actually installed within a water course. And it actually allows for the water to permeate, but it actually captures a lot of the sediment that's turned up when you conduct activity in a water course. What Commissioner Weldon is inquiring really is whether or not there will be any erosion mitigation controls within the water course similar to a turbidity curtain that you'd be able to place in order to mitigate some of the soil disturbance that might be agitated when crossing.
And just prevent it from going further downstream.
Yeah, I mean, I never heard of it before, but I don't see any reason why we can't have the contractor use something like that. It sounds easier to do than,
Tom, turbidity curtain wouldn't really be the necessary, or the effective erosion control given the elevation of the water here.
I mean, if you're talking 6 to 8 inches of water, I guess, is out there now.
Right, so,
You could almost even use rather than a turbidity curtain, use like a siltation fence. Just the water will permeate through it.
yeah, water could
still-
permeate through, it would capture a lot of it. I would almost be more inclined to recommend just a row of hay bales that are staked down into the ground and
You
can,
could do that.
and
as
that
well.
way it allows for easy removal post-construction. So when the day is over and construction activities have ceased and we're looking to get rain over the weekend, Mr. Pierce can then enter the water course, remove any necessary hay bales, and then reuse them subsequently during the next construction event.
Yep. That'd be acceptable.
Okay, so we can do two things. We can amend the resolution to put that in it, or we can say appropriate controls will be put in with the approval of the enforcement officer. Personally, I'd go for that one, because that gives you more flexibility.
Yep,
Is that all right?
absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So that, with that amendment, and taking out the.
I just wanted to speak for a moment. So you were saying about the shed. My concern is that we're running out of money, and the shed's gonna be a little while, and I'm not sure if you're gonna consider the stream cured, so to speak, for us to be able to go across that to build that shed. I'm not sure that equipment could go across the bridge that we intend to build to put materials over
I
to build a
understand,
shed.
But we're not sure what you're doing, so it's kind of hard for us to say, sure, go ahead and do whatever you want. We can't do that. I think we can consider, given the nature of the application, the work that's being done, but waiving, at least possibly waiving our fees, if that would help. But I think we really need to see, their sheds and their sheds. And a shed and greenhouse is a fair amount of construction to do up there next to the stream, so I really do think we need to see that. I understand your concerns.
I'm just concerned that you won't approve it because the
Well,
stream will be in a better place at that point.
Yeah, and I don't think that'll be a problem since you are replacing something that was already there.
And this would still be considered an F application relating to the flood,
Yeah, I
right?
think we can take care of that. So we'll do our best to attempt to address all of those concerns, but at this point, it's premature to approve the structures, I think.
Dorothy, for the record, would you mind just introducing yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm Dorothy Pierce at 278 Southford Road.
Yeah. I think that's about the best we can do tonight.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a motion pending. Dan seconds.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition, motion passes. Thank you, and sorry. I know, it's been really tough. So good luck with getting it all fixed. Okay, application 1757, 243 Bucks Hill Road, application for removal of dead trees. We had a fairly lengthy discussion about this at the last meeting. And there were some issues about exactly what trees would be removed, how they'd be removed, where the slash would be put, and I don't know what's happened since then.
So I've been in communication with the applicant Keith to better understand the process for how he plans to remove the trees. He was saying that the tree company would essentially come in, stage like a bucket truck, and use that arm to cut whatever it is that they would need to cut, dropping everything in place, and is willing to leave everything there. If that would kind of make everybody a little bit happier with the procedure of how he was doing that. There are some additional trees that were noted along the power lines that would need some trimming. Those didn't really appear to be dead upon our site review when we had gone out there. So that is most of the additional information I have. He is doing this out of safety for others, and would love to have it approved.
I seem
Yeah.
to recall, Thad, that you had some issues with getting into the wetland, cutting the trees, where's the slash gonna go, and that sort of thing. Does this address some of that?
I was just gonna say, I mean, eventually, and probably not that long from now, some of those trees are gonna come down by themselves. Mother Nature's gonna take care of some of that. The tree that was out next to the power lines, feeding power into the house, I think that one definitely could take some cutting and making sure that that wasn't going to take the power line down. The other two that were around the corner on that other road that ties in, I personally don't have any real feelings that one way or the other, as long as the tractors and the trailers and so forth aren't gonna get in there and not gonna have big tracks and so forth. But if you're gonna reach in and cut the thing and drop it where it sits, I don't have any objection to that.
Okay. Anyone else? Any issues? So do we need to modify? I don't think we need to modify the resolution.
So the way that there were actually two resolutions, the way that I had formatted them, the resolution that is currently in there does reflect sort of this partial approval where it's trim some trees. You can use the bucket loader to go in and cut the ones that are dead and have been flagged. When I had gone out there early spring, when there was no vegetation, they're still the same trees that are flagged. So I wouldn't see anything additional being added to this application, but it is covered as
I don't remember, does the resolution cover, well, it doesn't matter because we're gonna approve the cutting, but the ones by the electrical lines, I think we concurred that it would be appropriate to take that out.
trimming, not removal.
I don't have a problem with that. I can't tell from the resolution if the removal of the 8 trees includes the one by the power lines.
Okay, I can word the language to exclude that one specifically.
I'm not sure we need to.
Okay.
What I'm saying, I think that's right, that one, if it isn't presenting a threat now, it's presenting a potential threat. And since it's gonna be out there with the equipment, it kinda makes sense to do the job now. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I take no exception to it.
Okay, so can you make that modification?
Absolutely.
Okay, with that modification, then I would move to approve the draft resolution
Application
for
1757.
1757.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No opposition, motion passes. Okay, modified. All right, now we're getting to application 1758, 114 Manor Road. This is the matter we spent so much time on last month. It's for construction of a new house where an old house was, and the controversial part was the work on the bank of the river and getting down to a proposed floating dock. The dock and its abutment are not within our jurisdiction. That's for First Light, but from about halfway up to the top of the bank, that is within our jurisdiction. We had some significant issues about altering alternative ways of putting access in or potential erosion in the amount of disturbed area. Our original application also had a rather large area that was being cleared and then being reinforced. We had some discussions on that, and I believe that the engineer has come up with some alternative plans, which it looks like he's getting ready to tell us about right now.
Good evening. For the record, Jesse Judson, licensed land surveyor, 52 Main Street, Seymour, Connecticut. After our site meeting, the commission requested we looked at a couple alternative ideas. The first alternative that we submitted was alternative A. This plan was one of our original plans, had the staircase located further to the south. It did require some about the same amount of disturbance to the slope as before, and the plan wasn't really desirable because, as we discussed, the regrading is downslope of a proposed septic system. We really didn't want to disturb the slope in that area. Then we moved on to our alternate plan B, which we submitted as much more of a complete revision to the plan. This scenario, we moved the staircase a little bit closer, a little bit farther south, to what we call the flatter portion of the slope that will be discussed on the site walk. In this particular plan, we're proposing a bulkhead down at the edge of the water. It's 4 foot by 10 foot. We're actually gonna build the staircase over a portion of that bulkhead and really just leave like a 4 foot by 4 foot landing at the bottom of that to utilize. And that brings us up a couple feet high, 2.5 feet higher off the ground. That particular scenario sort of highlighted this cross-section that gets us up 2.5 feet higher, and then the staircase can come up the bank, and the green line is the existing slope here. We really don't need to cut into the ground till we're much farther up the bank, where actually there's no grading proposed below the 101% annual chance flood boundary. And then when we are regrading on the top, we have to add a landing in because of the height of the stairs. We're now increasing the height to more than 12 feet, so we have to add a landing in. But this grading on top of the slope, we can lay that slope back to 2-on-1, and so it's not as steep as before. This also limits our disturbance. Our initial plan, we were disturbing roughly about 950 square feet of the riverbank. This regrading area, we're only disturbing about 500, a little less than 500 square feet. The area down the bottom of the slope outside your jurisdiction along the bulkhead, any disturbed area when that's around that is going to be stabilized with riprap. Underneath the proposed staircase, we are proposing to still add, even though we're not changing the grade on a good portion of it, just the upper portion, we're still proposing to add the slope grid under that, and that was the cell material filled with stone underneath that. And that's because even though we're not disturbing the slope in that area, underneath the staircase, you're not going to get as much sunlight, so we're worried about plants not growing there. So we want to stabilize that so it doesn't become destabilized in the future. This particular scenario, we are removing 3 trees in this area. The tree about mid-slope is a smaller 6-inch tree. That slope would just be cut flush with the ground. The stump would remain into place. The upper 2 trees, the stumps would be cut and the stumps would be removed because that's within our regrading area that I've highlighted here in yellow. The trees we discussed on the site walk up by the house area, there is a large oak tree up there that's, where we initially had the staircase proposed because we wanted to take those trees out because the large oak tree is damaged, it's rotted at the base. There's already, as we pointed out in the site walk, there's already a large leader that's fallen off. The next tree down the hill is also dead. The beech tree down the bottom of the bank is almost dead. It's got the leaf disease and that's dying. So we would like to still cut those trees, but we'd leave the stumps in place. That way the bank's not destabilized.
I think we probably have a few questions. One is the area of regrade appears to be rather large, given that you're essentially laying it's almost a bridge on top of the ground. So why is that all being dug up?
We're laying it back to a 2-on-1 slope. When I come up the hill, the green line's the existing grade, so I can come up 12 feet in elevation for this staircase. Then I need a landing. When I put that landing on, this landing's below the ground. So I need to bench this out to put the landing in for the staircase and then come up the hill. So I need to regrade that. You know, like I said, we're above the 1% annual chance flood line, so I was laying that back to a 2-to-1 slope. I mean, we could reduce that a little and go with a 1.5-to-1 slope and stabilize it with, you know, a stone covering or something like that. It would
How about
reduce it
putting- how about-
minimally, but.
How about putting like retaining walls on the sides instead of cutting back?
We could certainly investigate that. I mean, it's, you know, you have to dig out you're still gonna remove the material to build a retaining wall and then backfill it back in. You know,
Yes,
you're
but-
still disturbing the slope, it's just the final product's different.
Yeah, but it would, I think it might be more stable over time.
You know, the retaining wall, we'd have to really, you know, put a retaining wall back here. Then we gotta remove all this material to make it work. So I'm actually removing more material likely to get that retaining wall to work, because I'd have to put the retaining wall at the back here. I still need to have this material removed for the staircase. So it's just really, the
I know,
retaining wall would be at the top of the slope
I
and
don't
higher.
understand that. Why would you need to do that?
Because if I put the retaining wall anywhere in this area, it's through the staircase, and the stairs can't, I mean, I guess we can go down the side of it
Be
and try
next
to
to
make it,
it.
yeah, it just limit
Leave it
the
on-
channel, you're making it,
on-
make a channel
It's
down
a
through
channel,
there, yeah.
basically,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. We could certainly investigate that.
Okay, I have a question about the pilings that are gonna be put in there. As I counted them, there are 10 of them that are gonna go in. The plans
yes.
do not say how deep there will go, or that I saw, nor how wide those holes would be, nor how you planned on putting them in.
They're 12-inch diameter sonotubes, the bottom's 42 inches below grade for frost, and as is specified in the thing, that'll be hand dug, those sonotube holes.
So that's about 40 feet, 45 cubic feet of soil that's gonna come out to put in the concrete. Where's that gonna go?
The soil,
Yeah, you gotta drill through it, you gotta dig it out with something.
the soil will be removed and we placed up slope on the site for fill, or trucked from the site if there's excessive
You
material.
talking about the bulkhead or the
No,
stair
it's
support?
for the stair supports, 12 inches wide, a minimum of 42 inches deep, I think, according to the building code. So that's about 45 cubic feet of soil, it's gotta go somewhere. I didn't see any planning, any place where that's gonna be stockpiled.
There, on the site plans, there is in this upper corner
Oh,
stockpile
okay.
material
Okay.
on the plans. There's,
And how are you gonna drill, you're gonna have to auger that out, right?
give you hand dug with post hole diggers. It's only a 12-inch diameter hole, that's 30.5 feet
I wouldn't wanna stand on
deep.
that slope and
Is
try
it-
to dig that hole.
I don't want to either.
Are we talking about soil here? This is not like bedrock and sticking
Yeah,
out
it's
the
just
side?
soil.
I don't
Sand
know how
and
many
gravel.
rocks it has in it. I know trying to run a two-person auger with a lot of rocks is not a fun job.
Nor is coring through rock, which is why I'm asking.
That's even worse. No, but it is soil, it's not stable. So I guess I have some concerns about the feasibility of even doing that. And is 42 inches enough, given that the angle of the slope is about like that?
It'd be at the lowest portion of the slope, the 42-inch depth.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
The 42-inch depth would be at the downhill portion of the slope. So from where it meets the ground here, you're 42 inches on the downhill side.
I'm not real thrilled with that design. I'm not criticizing your work. I'm just saying it seems like it's still kind of iffy. You get a heavy, we're gonna be getting rain on it, we're taking trees off, you're putting the stairway in. The slope grid probably will work. I just have some concerns about it. I think I'd be more comfortable if we sent it out to have somebody else take a look at it.
Also, good
Excuse
evening.
Excuse me, if I could just add one more question onto.
Please, all you want.
It appears that, I know we don't have any jurisdiction in regards to the landing and the dock system, but it appears that all of that work is going to be done concurrently with the construction of cutting the slope and the building of the staircase. I don't see anywhere on the plans where there's any indications of how you're going to perform that work in the dry, as far as the dock. I understand it would be under the purveyance of the other company, but still, with us cutting back the slope, what's gonna happen to any of the material that washes down that slope during a heavy rainfall? I mean, right now, there's no provisions in the plans that, and if these are the plans that you're gonna be submitting to the other entity, there should be some sort of indication on the plan sheets as to some sort of cofferdam in the water, some sort of water handling plan. I don't know where this is in relation to Lake Zor, but there's the potential of, I don't know if you've checked with NDDB, there's the potential of mussels. And there are a few mussels that are on the endangered list that you may have to deal with. These are just thoughts that I'm throwing out there to, for you to look at for when you go to the other entity. And I don't know, you know, at what point do we,
The other entity, meaning First Light?
First Light,
Perfect, thank you.
I don't know what we get to look at and don't get to look at as far as what First Light is reviewing and making comment on. I mean, it's all tied in together, and if the work is being done concurrently, our comments should be relayed to First Light, and the comments that First Light comes up with should be relayed back to us.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we can try to work that through. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes.
No, I understand, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint.
We did have a question earlier about when you're pouring that concrete for the dock. What are you gonna use? You're gonna put a cofferdam down there?
For the bulkhead construction, there's various things. I mean, most likely, I did speak to a couple excavators about this. The most likely scenario is using a crane. They can either pound in temporary steel, and as they hand excavate this out, bring the material up in the crane bucket, you can drop form, you know, the wood in, the form's in, then once you're down there, you obviously run a pump, you're pumping the water out, and then pour this concrete in, pull the wood out, the steel comes back up, and then it's, you know, you're only disturbing that really a 4 foot, maybe half foot, a foot around either side of it. Or there are situations where they will pile in basically wood really close together and form like a little cofferdam with the wood.
And just leave
And the
it.
wood can also act as the form structure for it.
Right, and then you pour inside and then just leave it, and pull it out again.
Or they can pull it out.
And how are, after they auger out the holes for the, I don't even know what they're called, they're not piers, for the stairs, how are you gonna get the soil back up to the stockpile? You gonna have like 12 people carrying baskets or what?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it's, or if the crane's still on the site, you know, you could just have a basket on a crane.
The crane would be
It's,
easier, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's you know, the material coming out of the holes, you know, it's really not, I don't really see where it's that big a deal, you know. I've dug sonotubes for I was on a flat ground with my own deck, you know, it's not that much material we're talking about.
Not your back that's gonna be moving.
Did you look at the system where they screw in the Technoposts and they're aluminum, the whole structure would be aluminum? And I don't think you really have to do any excavating, they just screw the thing down in and then attach to it?
So James DeMayo, professional engineer, located at 1 McConaughey Grove in Derby. So I'll start with that one. Typically, the machine, like, it'll be too far away for any of that equipment to be like practical and functional for this type of application. Because typically that equipment is either closer. I know that there's they've made some strides with some more handheld equipment to be able to do it, so you're not really using big equipment, but, on the slope, I think it's,
They don't have one that operates off of an excavator arm?
not that I'm aware of, no.
They just used a little skidster type equipment for doing that?
Well, the reason, the difficulty with that, or how that stuff is approved in terms of building, is it's basically like a torque wrench. So it tries to find the right torque and resistance in the screw. That's how you know you've gotten enough depth. So I just have never seen anything like that when,
Okay.
on like a boom of an excavator.
All right.
That plus the fact just looking at the horizontal distance, you're never gonna get an excavator down close enough.
No, I didn't know if they could put it
Yeah,
on, I
so,
mean,
so,
Want an
The machine,
articulated arm, you can.
no, it's too far, it's
yeah,
too far.
it's too far to reach
You
really
need-
well
you
with an
need about a
excavator.
30 You need about a 30-ton crane with about 80 feet of boom
Yeah.
to sit on the top of the slope and do all the work from the top.
Yeah, so in terms of equipment and where things will be staged, all of our equipment would be at the top of the slope. We're not proposing any equipment going down, so either a crane or if needed in this area, just for the regrading, it would be the excavator. Everything else would be hand, again, with the excavator, try to extend it down. If we had to remove the material from the sonotubes, worst comes to worst, they're strapping it to buckets and dragging it up.
so how do you auger the holes for the sonotube?
By hand,
By hand?
by hand. And then again, if we hit
So you're
some,
not gonna auger them, you're gonna dig them?
yeah, and in terms of ledge or the concern of hitting ledge, honestly, that's actually probably a better thing, because then we could pin to the ledge instead of having to dig 42 inches down. We can dig a little shallower as long as it's actual ledge and not just
Boulder.
yeah, a boulder. So that's actually, it actually helped in terms of construction. In terms of sediment, yeah, realistically, speaking of turbidity curtains, there would most likely be a turbidity curtain to prevent any of the sediment from leaving that area. So that would end up just right down gradient of any of the bulkhead construction and disturbance.
Right, but you would also probably need some sort of a coffer dam or water handling system
Yeah.
to be able to perform the work in the dry as far as.
Correct. And the hope would be that, that is all gonna be is in the process of being worked out with First Light, is the construction of that and the coffer dam and the water handling, is where we're at with that.
So in terms of the order of construction, you do the coffer dam,
Yep,
and all that at the base first.
yes.
Okay, so then we could put erosion controls down actually on top of that.
Well, the
Because
coffer dam would be the erosion control, because the coffer dam would
Coffer dam
extend.
will, but once they've poured the concrete,
I'm sorry?
then they're gonna pour the concrete, then they're gonna dig the holes. So if they've got people up on that slope digging holes by hand, and we get a rain, we're gonna wind up with
Realistically,
soil coming down.
yeah, it'd be more, turbidity curtain would be the first thing to go in before coffer dam and anything else for water handling. So that this way, even if just people walking up and down the slopes, loosens it up.
Potential problem.
Correct, that'd be the protection measure for that. So that would be the first thing, similar order of.
Is
sequence,
First
like
Light-
silt fence.
Is First Light asking for that as well, the turbidity curtain?
The first round of comments, I did not see that, right? No, but that's something that will end up on that.
How deep is the water how deep is the water that you anticipate having to work in at that point? I mean, if it's less than 5 feet deep, you can use sandbags.
Yeah, it's only a couple feet. I think it's 3 feet? Not even 2 to 3 feet? Yeah, so it's about 2 to 3 feet right there.
You could use a sandbag coffer dam.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more
And-
concerned with that than letting the turbidity curtain float out a little bit further and to be able to capture that area. It might, because.
No, Mike, no, I'm saying that you're gonna need a coffer dam of some sort.
Correct.
Whether it be a sandbag or timber piling or sheet piling.
Yeah.
Because the work behind the coffer dam where you're gonna be I presume that's
It'd be here
excavation.
and here, yeah.
Yeah, that whole area there is gonna need to be excavated.
Correct.
And that work is gonna need to be done in the dry.
Correct.
And I'm sure that because you're down below the stream bed, even with the coffer dam, you're probably gonna be pumping water, and you're gonna have to pump that to a sedimentation basin to drain, to basically settle all the
Correct.
garbage out
Yeah.
before bringing it back into the river.
Yeah.
So it's,
You will, but I'm still, so we'll most likely end up doubling up on it in terms of turbidity curtain and then the cofferdam anyway, just because I'm not as sold on the cofferdam preventing the other erosion from getting there like early on. So I think that's realistically what's gonna end up happening. So then even the cofferdam acts as like an extra buffer.
Yes, it does.
Belt and suspender at that point.
Mhm.
But I did want to touch upon the conversation about the wall and this 2-to-1 slope here. So 2-to-1 slope, again, typically is the maximum slope allowed to be stabilized just from grass. And so because it's under the stairs and we're worried about vegetation growth, that's why we want to armor it again with the grid and the stone. This way, it's again, it's kind of belt and suspenders for future erosions. I also am, if a retaining wall was needed, it would end up back here, and this would just get a little bit flatter in front anyway. So it's not, technically we're removing more material, and our area of disturbance isn't really changing very much in regards to, how much we're disturbing in the upland review area. If that makes sense.
You'd be digging deeper instead of wider.
Correct. Well, yeah, and.
Or
for the
wider is not much less.
Correct, or the wider is not much more. And so it's not much more in the terms of square footage, but it's a lot less in terms of volume.
yeah, because that would become a rectangle rather than a triangle.
Yeah,
So the grading at the top where your 2-to-1 slope is extends out to establish that 2-to-1 grade towards the stairs as well?
Yeah.
In the orange half
Yep.
circle you got going on there?
yep, so it makes it, yeah, about 12 feet on the sides of it.
Okay, and that's related to that maintaining that 2-to-1 slope back to, okay. It's not just, we want more lawn.
No, it's literally 100% related to the
Okay.
obtaining 2-to-1, because that existing slope is steeper than the 2-to-1, so we're trying to,
Understood.
yeah, we have to blend that in now.
You're submitting those plans tonight? Have we submitted these, there was, earlier this week was Monday, they were submitted Monday?
Those are in there, yep.
And that's the version that you prefer? Have you, indicated like the 100 and 200-year flood elevations on that bank?
The 100-year is, because that's also the first light boundary, or isn't it? Oh, on this bank.
The 1%, the 100-year flood storm is indicated, and also the first light project boundary is below that. But yes, the 100-year storm is indicated on there. All our grading is above, our proposed grading starts above, with this scenario, above that 1%.
But you're gonna put that storm, the grid pattern from there down to the water's edge essentially?
Underneath the stairs, yeah. Even though we're
Just
not
on,
regrading it,
and around the cement abutment on each side, right?
around the cement abutment will be riprap.
Riprap, but no grid.
Correct.
Yeah, just riprap.
I would like to see this go out for a third-party review myself.
So I was gonna say that, yes. I propose that we send it out and have
they've given us an extension.
Third party, we would have to get one,
Correct, yep.
right? Thoughts about that?
I'll
Send
second
out
it.
to- You agree?
I agree.
I agree as well.
We're going to ask you for an extension so that we can send this out and have somebody else take a look at it who has a little more professional knowledge than most of us do.
Fair enough. We submitted an extension letter on Monday with the revised plans.
Very good.
That's
So we're all
correct,
set?
so we've got that in writing, we're all
Thank you.
set on our end, yep.
You knew we were gonna do this, didn't you? Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We will continue this discussion when we get the report back from whomever, and we will work diligently to get somebody on it. That I can assure you of. Any thoughts on when you would prefer to get this started? I'm assuming you want it done before winter. Yes or no?
At this point, it's likely that the construction would be next year.
Okay,
Have you,
that helps a little bit.
have you included, construction details and phasing in your plan?
There is construction details, sheets 2 and 3. There's a construction sequence narrative that was provided. There's 3 details on the slope grid and riprap, various site details on
Okay.
sheet 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, and,
Because that's something they'll want to look at for sure.
yeah, and just for everyone's knowledge, just to summarize, for construction sequence, we kind of limited. We have to start down at the bottom and work our way up,
Right.
work our way out. Because once the house is constructed, it's gonna make it a lot more difficult to do things like
Yep.
even cut down the tree or remove it or stabilize anything. So that activity would all have to happen first and stabilize our way out before any of the other.
Have you submitted any sort of mitigation plan for the regulated activities you're requesting?
Yeah, I mean, in term,
Something to consider as it's part of the application?
well, when you reference a mitigation plan, are you referring to just, like, I mean, we're
It's
trying to
up-
mitigate.
It's up to the applicant to consider that and provide one if they wish.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we pretty much have, due to the fact that we're submitting some alternatives, we're submitting how we're going to try to handle and reduce future impact, with our current proposal, so.
Okay.
I mean, with the tree removal, it's, I don't wanna say standard practice, but we always ask about, plantings in the area, especially on a steep bank like that. I think that's more what Carl was asking about.
The concern with planting new stuff on that steep slope is now we're disturbing more area, which now has a potential for even more erosion. It's one thing if this was at a 2-to-1 slope already, but the less that we can touch, probably the better for long-term, even if we are trying to plant something, because now we're gonna disturb up more, and then once we kind of touch it, we would really have to stabilize it as best as we could, which would mean now we'd have to put like the geogrid or something else on top of it to
And
hold
you're,
it in place.
in the area of disturbance, we're talking about reseeding that with grass of some sort?
At the top.
Yeah,
At the top, yeah.
yeah.
The slope grid won't support plantings, will it? You're putting stone under that.
Underneath the steps, the
Yeah.
stairs, yeah. Yeah, so, and that'll extend like maybe like 2 feet beyond or a couple feet just beyond. Just again, the intention for that is just if any vegetation dies underneath the stairs, we don't want water to hit bare soil and continually erode under the stairs. So we're kind of that's the intention of the geogrid and the gravel.
Okay, thank you.
Can we get a motion?
Appreciate that. We'll send this out for a review, let you know what happens and when, and try to get copies of comments to you shortly after we get them. I have no idea when that will be.
Bill, can we get a motion and a second for sending out for a third-party review, please?
I have no idea what he said.
Motion.
Oh, yes. We We need a motion to continue the matter and to refer it out for review. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one's opposed, motion passes. Thank you, we will see you in September.
Thank you.
Oh, that was fun. Okay, application 1760, 102 Housatonic Trail. This is, construction of a new house. There had been a cease and desist on this. Stream had been channeled, pipe put in without permits. And we've gotten some correspondence from the neighbors, raising some issues, bringing to our attention some matters of which we probably weren't aware. So, Deirdre, would you care to review
Yeah, give a
neighbors'
quick,
comments? Yeah.
quick synopsis. We can read it into the record. I think it's short enough.
Okay. That's fine with me. Yeah.
Oh, my side of it?
The, neighbors? Sure. Okay.
Over here would be good.
All right, so I have in front of me the statement from the neighbors. Neighbors to 102 Housatonic Road. So the letter is dated July 10th, 2025, and it goes on to say, "We are writing to you to express concerns regarding site work at 102 Housatonic Trail. Our main concern is that the pipe that was recently installed without proper oversight from inland wetlands in the stream is undersized. It is smaller in diameter than the pipe that is installed under the roadbed, which is only about 40 feet downstream. The culvert pipe under the roadbed was originally installed by the town. The size of this pipe, in conjunction with the way the left side of the bank, left facing the property, has been raised, will not hold the water debris which, when that stream is at full capacity. The excess water will overflow on the right side when the stream tops out. This could cause washout of the road, bridge, and downstream properties. It can also cause loss of access to 7 residences, as well as impede access for emergency propane and home heating fuel vehicles. The volume of water that comes down off the hill is often very significant, even without a major event. The August storm aside, it is a common occurrence for that stream to run bank full and have the culvert bridge pipe at full capacity after a heavy rainstorm or snowmelt. The storm in August 2024, while rare, had the stream overflowing its bank even with not having a second pipe in the stream. The pipe under the culvert bridge was the only pipe at that time, which is larger than the one recently installed on 102 Housatonic Trail. This storm caused significant damage in which the culvert bridge roadbed was so compromised, it limited access to homes, damaged property downstream, and destroyed a paved parking area. Over the years, we have watched this stream grow from a mere trickle to its present form, a wide flowing stream. I ask that the Inland Wetlands Board revisit the site and consider asking that the additional pipe be increased in size to a minimum of 30 inches, which is equal to the culvert bridge pipe, and requiring the grade on the right side of the stream raised. Thank you for your due diligence. And that's it.
Again, you-
Okay.
So the issue, an issue, I guess, is that
so the bridge is back.
in the event of heavy storm, this unpermitted crossings with the stream would clog or wash out, debris would clog the larger pipe further down, causing issues for the neighbors. crossing were taken out, it would appear that water coming down off the hill would, in the event of a storm, be more likely to overflow the banks and then run off to the east
Towards that parking area.
toward the parking area, with less likelihood of causing a problem for the passage under the Housatonic Trail. That would also mean the water would go into the base, is it a basin? It's down below?
So, yes, correct, the one,
So there's a basin on the south, on the east, off the east corner. And the overflow would tend to go there rather than being directed under the road. That sounds like a reasonable,
Because
Way to
everything
handle
here
it.
is draining to
Uh,
here, and then,
I believe from the drawing,
now,
the
why are they having to install energy
crossing
distribution
isn't
here?
used for driveway, because the driveway's coming in,
That's the Jersey
what on the
barrier
map is
that's up-
called
that's indexed.
Leontinog, actually be coming in off
Unless-
Housatonic Trail
unless they're
directly,
using that
where the old driveway went.
to grade.
Sure. Could you identify yourself first, please?
State your name and address, and then just take that microphone with you speaking to from you.
Okay, my name is Julius Bogner. This is for 102 Housatonic Trail.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Okay, we need to do this so people can hear it.
Okay, if you look at this plan, I decided to make this a lot easier and forget about where the old driveway was. It says, the driveway went through here.
So the original proposal was to bring the driveway up from Housatonic Trail up the northeast side of the property and then cross over toward the house, correct?
Correct, it's where the driveway was.
Right.
But if it makes it easier, I just eliminate that there. There's culvert, there's all drain, this is all culvert here, where if there's anything where, if this thing failed over here, it would just hit the culvert, and there's a drain pipe that goes off this way. And
But let's back
I'm
up.
no expert, but
The new
I don't see where.
The new driveway is coming directly off Housatonic Trail. It's heading northwest
It's
and
actually,
then turning into the
it's
into the
actually
house, right?
existing. It's actually it's still there now, it's
Yeah, I
asphalt.
saw it.
Oh, yeah, and I just basically forget about this and just plain grass over
Okay.
here. That's it.
So our issue is whether the existing, one of our issues, whether the newly built crossing across the stream is appropriate, stable, beneficial, or detrimental. The neighbors are arguing that it is potentially detrimental in that there is a possibility of it washing out, debris going down the stream and blocking the passage underneath Housatonic Trail,
Well,
right?
there was no conduit there to begin with, right? So now that
It's
it's
just a
not,
stream.
yeah, now that it's not gonna be used as a driveway, can we just remove it?
I mean, we could, I mean, it was there. There was a driveway that went through. But I mean, if that's what gets us to move forward today, to get the permits to build, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
The pictures that we received this week, I think with the neighbors' report, showed the water coming down the right-hand side, or where are we? Eastern side of the brook. And I think that's what's coming down from up above, running over the driveway rather than through the culvert. I mean, you're talking about taking the culvert out altogether and utilizing the other side of that horseshoe as your
That's what
access?
That's what that,
Yeah, like
that's paved.
return it to the initial condition.
I'm
Right?
sorry?
Is it possible to return it to the initial condition?
That is the condition. The way it is the way I want
Okay,
it.
the way I understand it, the conduit was not there to begin with, right? That's what they're saying, that it's undersized, the one that was put there.
whoever
So
put it there,
whoever put it there.
it's a smaller culvert than the one that goes under Housatonic Trail.
Right,
I
well,
believe
okay.
what you're saying is right, and the neighbors are saying, because of that, if we get a storm, the smaller one, which is further northwest can wash out, and that debris would then flow down and clog the bigger one, which would cause trouble for the people down gradient,
Right.
as opposed to letting it overflow, nothing there to wash out, in which case you would get overland flow to the east, which will then come off that, toward that eastern corner and go down
Mm-hmm.
the hill to the retention basin, pond, whatever it is, it's down gradient.
I just thought that if, you know, they're concerned about the size of the conduit, why don't we just take the conduit out?
I think
And
Mr. Wagner's saying,
it's there, it's the original
if
condition,
that's
that's what
what
he was
we
saying.
want him to do, he'll do that,
Yeah, whatever.
because he
whatever
wants
we
to
have
build
do.
the house and he doesn't really care that much. Is that
At this
correct?
point, yeah, I mean, whatever works. If you need me to take it out, we'll take it out. I think it looks beautiful there, but if it needs to come out, it can come out. It's how the driveway was. The driveway went around. Basically, there's all asphalt here where it's existing, and we probably just cut part of the driveway off, and, I'd probably have to take all that asphalt out of there, take all that out, right? Or I would probably just leave it, the old driveway.
Totally up to you.
I'd rather just leave it. There was dirt over it. So, but I'll do anything that I have to do to move forward to get this built.
So then there was also the issue of the well being drilled on the other side of the stream. So how would the piping and the needed electric lines get from the well to the house?
It would help if that pipe was there, because we could just go underneath or go in the same area, but,
What?
um,
The other pipe. It's right here.
but it's gonna have to go across that brook.
Here, it's right here. This is it.
So the concern is that sheet flow is coming down, this is a brook,
Yes.
the sheet flow is coming down, getting in the brook and it overloading this pipe, that's the concern?
That's part of it, but I think the neighbors are saying, whether it's sheet flow or not, this stream, which has just become much larger for whatever reason, upgrading construction or
It
whatever.
takes runoff from the road above it.
Is that what it is? Okay, so it's coming off the road. and
There's a big
because-
valley, and that's where that kind of stream comes through. I forget the name of the road that's above it, but you can see the cars when we were there going on it. And it takes that runoff into that channel and goes through the culvert that we're talking about.
Okay, so anyway, whatever source, the neighbors are saying we're getting more water in there, and that this culvert, whoever put it in, is undersized and potentially threatens the integrity of one downstream that the town put in.
And
And that will
it does
affect
appear that in the flood, overland flow kind of took out that parking area, the asphalt
it
on the
certainly
other
does
side,
do
because it's
that.
all broke up and everything. So
Scoured.
I'm just thinking that little depression where our stream is, you know, gonna get overloaded. You're gonna have water going across the road either way.
Yeah, either way,
Personally,
it's
but
gonna happen.
If you
Whether
take the
conduit is
culvert
there
out,
or not,
that,
it's
you know,
gonna happen.
Well, it is
that
gonna
works
happen.
too.
But they're saying, yes, I gather that their concern is not so much the flat overland flow, that's
Clogged
fine.
pipe.
It's that the
Clogged
pipe
pipe.
itself will blow out,
Right.
and the rocks and the debris from the blowout will clog the downstream culvert. Yes?
And that may still happen even if you remove the conduit or the
Yeah.
culvert, because
It might.
the channel itself may not be sized large enough. There may not be enough
The channel's
full
not,
bank width.
It's not big.
the
to-
channel is not big.
So it's gonna,
It can scour the channel out, and clog it anyway.
yeah, and not knowing what the size of this, crossing is across, Housatonic Trail and, Wintonog Trail.
That's a 30-inch, I think, yes?
I mean, it in itself, it may not, if there's another housing development or something up here that's relatively new,
Yeah, we
And
can't
it's a
do
cheap
anything,
road.
we can't do anything about that one.
no, I understand that, but as far as addressing the residents' concerns,
Mm.
we may be making the condition worse by taking the
Well, that's
culvert
why
out.
we're talking about it. Yeah, it's possible.
So how could we protect the people downstream you know, it may have nothing to do with the
I,
conduit.
I think it's the crossing so that you can get, and if I read the email correctly, emergency vehicles and heat and, you know, oil and stuff like that up the hill to the remaining houses above it. If we have a washout there and you can't get through the road, you know, it's the people, again, the
Well,
people below are important too, but
If the
what we're
issue is-
talking about is,
If the issue is the newer culvert becoming destabilized and ruined, I suppose you could put some kind of a swale in above it that would direct, in the event of a storm, would actually direct overflow around it. But is that worth bothering with?
I would suggest that we ask the engineer of record to do a watershed study to understand
How much water's coming?
what kind of water that we have coming down here, and then he'll be able to size that pipe properly. It might end
Or
up,
say it doesn't matter?
well, that's possible, and this, I mean, if he studies that watershed and decides that this needs to have a larger pipe in it, it could end up being larger than what the town's put in.
It could be.
It
in which
doesn't,
case
you know,
you'll
you
get-
don't know,
you'll
but
get backup,
that's the only way
but
to
we don't know.
really come up with the proper sizing there.
Well, I think Mr. Spath could probably handle that.
I'm sure it's John Mack, I think, but yes,
Probably.
that would be my suggestion as far as sizing that goes.
Could we just do away with it then, at this point?
What
Because, I
what
mean,
was
we're
the-
looking at, there's so much money involved here.
Was
I know money's not the thing here, but
this,
I'll work with you
It's always a
anyway.
factor.
It is a fact.
this pipe was for an old driveway that you're not reinstalling, is that what it was for?
Yeah, it's, the driveway went through here, it's
Yeah.
asphalt.
Okay,
But I'll eliminate, the driveway would look beautiful,
okay.
just coming around, but
If
if
you
you say
don't-
I can't do it,
If you don't need
if
a
that pipe's a problem,
If you don't need a pipe there, I wouldn't have any problem with it being removed.
And that would kind of end our involvement. Because we can't try to fix everybody's problems. We're dealing with, you know, your property. Yeah, it may be more cost effective for you too, to just say, just take the damn pipe out. But then you won't have a crossing and you will have issues with, as Ms. Lesh said, with your power and your water supply.
you're
So
right.
you have to think about that.
So what would you like me to do? If I keep it, I mean, I
Maybe
can have,
you
I
should-
can have a
you should
swale
talk to
engineer.
John.
I think you
Mr.
have
Mack.
to have a conversation
About the
with
other
your
two
engineer.
issues and see what they want to do.
Would you be okay with what we talked about if they did an overflow swale here?
I would talk to John and see what he thinks. It may be pointless, really. If that did something effective, we would certainly entertain it. There may be no point.
And you can't really do anything that intentionally diverts water onto someone else's property. So I'm not really that familiar with the site, but that's something that you need to keep in mind. So if you put in a swale and it directs it into someone's yard, then
Well, but
that's
only-
a problem.
The overflow here is already going that way, if you look at it.
Well,
Yeah, it's-
sheet flow is gonna go where it
Where it's
goes
gonna go,
naturally, but if
right.
you do something to aggravate
Then
the
you've done
situation,
something.
then you're
You're
in.
right, you're absolutely right. I'd suggest you talk to John and see tell him what the concerns are. He can run some quick calculations on the proper sizing, and that would help.
And
And I think be easier for you.
have we looked at this plan from other than
Is
the
there- is there-
the
is there a
immediate
way
problem
to-
situations? Cause,
Just recreate
you know,
this?
basically everything is
So
a
that
regulated area
water
here,
The whole thing is,
right?
yeah.
I don't see where it's
This
been,
way?
wetland
It goes that
markers
way to
or
the channel?
anything. Has it been wetland tested?
Because, no, because
No,
what
I
he does, he's making it
I-
too far.
It doesn't
to
look
you.
Well, I
doesn't-
just
I
looked
don't-
in there
It
and I,
doesn't seem like there are
This way.
wetlands on it.
I'm sorry?
It didn't seem like, when I was visiting last week or the week before, it didn't seem like there were actually wetlands. It just seems like the stream cuts straight
And the
Just
through.
the stream
the
is
stream is
Back
channeled.
down.
Okay,
It's not
This
a
way.
spreading
just
wet.
asking, cause I'm not
No,
familiar with the
there's no
site.
skunk cabbage, there's
Okay.
He-
So I
Nothing
do
is
have a
really
concern
flagged.
though, off this
So
corner
now
of
all
the
this
house,
water
the
is now being
northeast
forced to
corner,
come down.
That's
there
it.
was a cement, there was a round cement, it looked like the top of a tank.
That's right there. So that's the existing septic.
Okay. Are you gonna keep that in place?
That's a new septic, but I
It's-
don't
it's
trust
weird.
it. So I
Ah.
had a septic re-engineered and get it planned.
Okay. It seemed closer, it seemed closer.
I think the dirt mound is throwing you off. The dirt mound is, it's
Okay.
large. it is large. I mean, that dirt mound actually comes up and right over to there.
This way,
Okay.
it's still gonna come down this way and never
So
get
you're
there.
gonna keep that in place?
Because it's gonna
And
come
it's
down
gonna
the
be-
driveway.
Field here.
What is all that?
Mr. Wagner? There's something,
And the road bends here and
those are hay
kind of
bales.
goes downhill.
What's
from
the
this
energy
point.
dissipator
36,
on
234.
here? We don't
And I
know
think
what
this
that
is
is.
catching
So this is
There
gonna be for
is
gutters.
riprap
The
along
gutters will come down.
side.
Gutters will come down and then they'll go into that little vault of rocks, slow it down, and then it will, just dissipate there. The
Oh, so
property.
you are gonna have gutters,
Yeah,
no footing drains though.
no footing drains on this side here. On the septic side.
Oh, so you are gonna have roof gutters, and they're gonna, I don't see where they're gonna go, but.
Are they just spilling out onto the gravel and then
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
surface from
Well,
there?
no,
Oh,
they're
well-
gonna have a dissipator.
I'm sorry. You'll have a gutter pipe here, gutter pipe here, it'll just come to, I mean, we could essentially,
those
my
need to
understanding,
be-
we could do without it as well. We could
Yeah,
just have them
But if
just
it's gonna
drain
be
right in the
there,
ground.
it needs to be on the drawing.
Okay.
The piping
So-
needs to be on the drawing.
If it doesn't show there, we'll
It's
just
not
do
there.
away with it.
Well,
'cause
that's
it's
up
not
to you,
there.
if you
I'm
wanna,
fine with
if you
not
wanna do
doing
it that way, otherwise,
Well, how else would you collect the water coming off the roof?
it. It just,
just
Just
let it come off the roof.
dissipates.
Okay, and just
yeah,
off
dissipates
the
right.
You don't get ice dams either.
Well, it would have to
All
be
right,
in
well,
front of
it's just that you have, it's so close to the bedrock, which is, it's such a
It's
flaky
about this far
bedrock.
away from
You know, I
rock
mean, it's
wall.
gonna be damp.
Literally,
I'm
not
just
what it is.
thinking,
the house,
You know.
this is all rock.
how is the house
all
gonna
here.
breathe?
We'd have trap rock around it. I know what you're saying, and we're gonna be out of the ground, with the foundation.
Foundation's already out of the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's mafia block.
So this is on a slab?
It's, no, there's footings there now, and then we're going up.
See, this is all in up to
Over
Here.
existing foundation.
Correct.
here.
So is
This
it a
is
slab
open.
or it's a basement?
It's gonna, that's the garage,
just the foundation.
and then, so you'll have, 10-foot walls. It'll be 10 foot in the back, it'll step down towards the front, and this is the garage. You're just gonna have a one-car garage, not a big house.
No, it's quite small. This is, all this footing down here looks like mafia.
Driveway that goes up the hill.
May not be mafia.
It's all poured, yeah,
Yeah.
the guy before.
And then this is open from the garage. It's been the garage, and they're gonna go up. I guess you're going up 2 stories?
No, well, it's a raised ranch, so, it's gonna be lower than the house that was
I'm
there.
just concerned
Oh,
about taking that
okay.
Yeah, because though the house that was there was 2-story, this is a raised ranch, a little bit lower.
And are you gonna, just out of curiosity, some of this rock looks pretty iffy.
Yeah,
You
there's
gonna
not
move
too,
some of that
Do
back
we
just to
have the
help
just take it,
protect
yeah.
your house?
Yeah, there's not much, it looks like there's not much there, but yeah, just pull that, pull it out of
Because
there.
there's some up here,
Yep.
up on the,
Taking
I
that
can't tell
out.
what side, it's the southwest side. It looks like somebody tried to build a wall.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't look too stable. I mean, that's up to you, but.
Yeah, I could definitely get it out of there.
Whatever bank full width you have here, bank full width you have
Grade
here.
in hatch
That's
area
natural.
represent.
So you have
I have
to
no
have
idea.
a choke point.
It's all silt fencing that we put in.
No, this
No, there's
lightly
it's
grayed area
boulder.
in here, is that all,
Along the stream bed,
is that already there?
That's there.
that's there. That's all been done.
Okay.
There's, all along the lower part up to the
Oh, okay.
crossing
It's riprap.
is riprap, and above it, it's riprap, I guess, on one side,
Okay.
all the way to the, almost all the way to the property line, right?
That's your.
Okay, so, do we need an extension?
So Julius, ultimately, because of the hiatus in August, there would need to be an extension for this.
Yep.
Otherwise, we would have to move forward with a
Coming
denial
down
and moving
Yep.
forward. So it'd really be in your best interest to request an extension in writing to the commission, but it's ultimately up to you.
And that'll give you the opportunity to talk to Mr. Mack and work some of this out.
Okay. And then you guys come
Yeah.
back in
September.
Correct.
And then we should be able to wrap it up then.
Appreciate it. I'd like the extension. Thank you.
Fantastic. And
If you want to
just-
give DeAndrea a call, she can tell you basically what to say.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely,
Thank you.
Julius, you got it.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Do you guys want to keep the plans, or should I?
Well, she keep a set for you. Okay,
If
yeah,
we could keep them, that'd be great,
We'll keep
Julius.
thank you.
Motion to continue application 1760 until our next regular meeting in September.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No opposition, motion passes. All right, where am I? That's application number 2. Excuse me, 1760.
So we're gonna be moving on now to the show cause hearing, the ONG cease and desist that is still outstanding. I've had communications with Richard Warren, who's ultimately the site manager there, and I've been passing by periodically. I personally am happy with the vegetation growth that has been in, but in previous discussions and commission meetings, it was, let's see how it grows in, and then we'll decide if ultimately a planting plan would be something that would be required, as large trees were cut, stumps were remaining in place. I do have some photos that were sent to me. If you guys wanna take a peek at those were from this morning, they were sent to me. And then ultimately deciding whether to lift the cease and desist or continue holding for a planting plan.
What do you think?
I'm very happy with it. Some of the neighbors have come up with concerns. It is all thick vegetation growing in there.
Good
It's
healthy
not-
poison ivy and,
Oh, yeah, a ton of that. But, you know, there are large trees that were cut down as part of this, so if the commission would like to see something additional, you can absolutely do that.
I haven't been out there, so I don't know what it looks like.
I mean, this is as disturbed a site as it gets. The hillside that was cleared, I mean, the same things that were there are gonna grow back eventually. Yeah, I don't really see any issue in holding them up any longer. I mean, a planting plan, there's so much vegetation out there. I mean, they literally just mowed it. It's all gonna come back.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
Driving back out there with a machine to plant things would be worse than just leaving it the way it is.
I don't think there would be any advantage to putting trees in there because it's an area that they need to
You have to clear it anyway.
function to have their ponds working.
Okay, well, let's lift the cease and desist.
Yeah, do we need to have any kind of follow-up paperwork or anything from them, or just lift it?
Nope, they've been in communication with me as they plan on moving forward with any activity that would be there. They are aware that the neighbors know that there's the quarry there and that is part of ONG. So that's where the cease and desist originally originated from, was what's going on
They
there.
didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and Southbury was not informed. So now there is an open line of communication,
Okay.
and Richard's been great in keeping me up to date on everything.
I would still like to see their annual report for what happens there.
You're supposed to do that anyway.
Well, we hadn't been getting it, which is part of why I asked. Woodbury gets it. We had not, obviously, we're like a small portion of that site, but still nonetheless,
I can absolutely request that from him.
thank you.
Well, he owes it to us. I mean, we really are supposed to
That
get
is-
it, so.
that is
Okay.
true.
All right, I'll move to lift the cease and desist under those circumstances.
I'll second it.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Let's see, second cease and desist, 471 Old Poverty Road.
This one's continued indefinitely,
You're still talking about it.
still talking about it, correct?
Okay. Move that we continue the cease and desist while discussions continue. Dan seconds, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? No opposition, motion passes. Okay, Aquifer Protection Regulations. Anything to discuss? I don't think so. Officers report.
The officer's report is gonna cover a lot of other business there. Other than that, minimal activity permit that was issued this week for a deck installation with small sonotubes, and we got that one approved, no problem. I think it's gonna be a great improvement to their site, so
Good.
that one's great.
It's always good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Bills and receipts? No bills, no receipts. Correspondence from DOT, Water Resource Construction Bridge number 07051. What is it and where is it?
Temporary bridge just outside Community House. They're gonna have to replace it
Okay.
permanently, and this is the notification.
So they're gonna tear it down and rebuild it. That'll just be so fun.
Where is that?
The
By
forms are
Community
set, so
House.
everything should be much more expedited this time around.
Yeah, that's a temporary bridge on 67.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Which I
Swamp.
thought was which I
Yeah.
thought was permanent.
It's modular, that's why the sightline issues were created, because of those railing systems that are installed with them. But as the construction went on, they set the foundations for the future bridge, so subsequent construction
Okay.
should be a
Any
little bit
idea how
more
long it's
expedited.
gonna take?
I believe they're getting kicked off in 2027, so we have plenty of time, but they might have expedited this as a result of the work that they're doing out there right now.
Okay, we getting any money to help pay for it?
It's a state project,
It's the state money, right?
so you've given
Is
them the
state
money
getting
already.
any money to help pay for it? Would be nice. Minutes for the June 18, 2025 regular meeting. I had no comments. If anybody else has any, send them in. No comment. I guess the minutes are approved.
All right, great.
They're automatically approved unless they're comments. Other business, permit revision for 60 Sleepy Hollow Road. Don't know what that is.
So 60 Sleepy Hollow came to us originally as a single-story demolition along the Riverbank. They were proposing new construction, two-story with an actual ramp access. So they had started going through with kind of, I guess, setting up the site, moving some things, and as part of that, the shed that was there had been moved, and now that they're looking to replace that with a larger shed that can better service them, but it was not on the original plan. So this is looking to modify that original approval to also accept the garage, prefabricated, something kinda like that. We've seen a dozen of them come our way. We
Same
do-
location as the existing
We-
shed?
We do have a site plan, so it is a similar location. It's not placed as close as the previous one was, and it is going to be a larger footprint, but it will be on gravel.
And they were asking also, I think, about, they had a leaning tree they wanted to take down. Do we already grant permission for
I
that?
think we did
Correct,
that.
but as part of this resolution modification, I had also included that as part of that, but that was an emergency repair. We gotta deal with that soon.
Okay. Yes, I heard.
Oh, the existing shed was in the back of the house. Oh, there's one in the front.
Yeah,
and the back,
you're
I
turned
guess.
around, that's correct.
I don't see any issues with it, do you?
No.
Not from wetlands, nope.
Everybody looking at us.
So the owner is here. If anybody does have questions about the information provided, the site plan, or anything.
Modular as in, it comes in and you set it down and you're done. Is that what that
I'm Ryan Delt, the owner at 60 Sleepy Hollow Road. And so I use that as an example. We may just stick frame it on site, depending on cost comparison. So yeah, I basically shared that with Deandra as what we were essentially proposing, since, we talked about, submitting enough information for you to be able to make a decision. And I figured showing you something fully built and,
So it's a concept, the concept is. the
yeah,
same.
so we may go that route, but we also may just stick build it. But I think the main information I wanted to share was that it wouldn't, because the original plan for the house was to stay within the existing footprint of the foundation. So I didn't want to propose we'd have to go back through the whole process, and really just wanted to do something that amounts to something that's built as a shed, but it would have an overhead garage door, on one end of it. It's got it's basically the location that we're proposing is essentially the driveway. It's already gravel, so obviously we'd need to level it and make sure that it's, ready to put down the pressure treated, beams and whatnot as far as the floor is concerned, but it's already a gravel bed. We'd just be proposing, placing a little bit further away from the road, because obviously it's a small lot. It's not conforming to begin with. We wanted to move the existing shed out of the way because with bringing an excavator in to do work on the site, I wanted to keep it as far away from the septic system as possible. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to move the existing shed to begin with. And then when Deandra came out, sorry.
The existing shed is still there?
We pulled it out to give access to for the excavator to get in there for a couple reasons. One, Deandra mentioned the tree. Like she said, we applied to have that taken down. That's actually gonna come down on Saturday. And
Is that going off-site, the shed?
we have to leave it, on basically the bank of the brook there. So she said that we could use equipment to remove it. The equipment just can't go into the water course.
That's fine.
But aren't supposed to remove supposed to just cut it, leave the stump and the root ball there. We're not supposed to
No,
disturb
I meant
that.
the shed itself.
Oh, what's the question about the shed?
The shed's being removed, like from the
We-
site removed?
Yeah, we did
Okay.
remove it to get it out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So it's already
so-
gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
So as far as replacing it, we could replace the shed, but this would make more sense for what we would like to do longer term.
Okay.
Let me read the motion. The amendment is, applicant's request modification to include emergency removal of the leaning tree and replacement of the existing shed, the 16 by 24 shed to be installed on a gravel pad. Is that it? I'll move that to accept that modification.
I would be just adding one thing to that zoning approval would be required. So Wetlands Commission, they're granting the
Subject to zoning
location.
approval.
Yeah, correct, so
Okay.
subject to zoning approval, and I could work with you through that.
Okay.
Donna seconds, Donna Lesh seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No opposition, motion passes. Good luck with your shed.
Thank you.
Make sure they use pressure-treated wood on the bottom.
Yeah, I did mention pressure treated. That's gravel.
Suitable for in-ground use. Mine rotted out. Okay, Mr. Hecht, West Flat Hill Road, agricultural exemption.
Correct. So this came to us, and it's pretty much just a notification to the Wetlands Commission. So as it is farmland, there are certain as of right procedures that they're allowed to do on that land. And so they're kind of coming to us, and there's a few things on here. So one would be improving the farm access way, clearing of timber, soil preparation for different grading in that area, and then they also put the harvesting of crops on there. But all of that would be occurring.
Did we look at this in the past? Was there an application for this?
Yes,
something
Dan,
big
there was.
on this.
So it was a
Yes.
thin strip and then a much bigger field and all that?
Yeah, Mr. Heck's here, so he'll be able to
Okay.
elaborate.
Any wetland disturbance? No problem.
So at this point, it's improving the road and the things on front here.
Maintain fields,
Maintaining
Yep.
fields.
fixing the access.
I mean, it is on a, hill and there's a spring there and there's all kinds of stuff,
All
but
kinds of stuff.
yeah. no, that's
Mr.
fine.
Heck can elaborate, but Peter and Carl, since you guys were there, it was like 4 or 5 parcels that make up the farmland. The farm pasture that you saw was farmed land, it was processed, so all the vegetation had been removed years ago. This is one of the parcels that is a complete forest. So that is the intention, is to establish additional farmland through this forested area. There are wetlands involved, this will likely involve regulated activities. Mr. Heck can elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a continuation. Peter Hecht, 261 West Flat Hill Road. This is just a continuation of what I did with the other 3 parcels. So we purchased this a couple years ago. It was after the initial purchase of the rest of the land, and so this is just continuing what we've already been doing. So it can't really access it at the moment, so the original, like, how it all started was I would talk to the land surveyor, see if he could put flag markers out where the property boundary is. You can't even get in there to do that. So that's pretty much just the intent.
It's all
is to-
brambles, right?
Yeah, it's like, there's definitely a lot of like invasive Russian olive, vines killing all of the trees that were at one point nice. It's just a continuation of that, so.
Okay.
Will you be doing like commercial logging in there?
No, there's really, there's
Just
there's
clearing for
one,
access?
exactly, yeah, it's just, there's one tree that's like, maybe a cherry tree that's about this big, and in the middle of the property, the rest of it's brush. So there's really nothing to do.
And what are you gonna do on it, do you know?
Hay crop, continuation of the hayfield.
Okay,
So.
once more you come to my house.
Thank-
I don't have a lot, but yeah, I'm glad to
Cool.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we have to do anything about it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck. Permit revision for community house.
So Community House originally came to the Wetlands Commission as a minimal activity permit to repair the deck that had been washed out by the flood. And as part of that, you know, there was some minor movement of soil, you know, some spreading and leveling there. And now the homeowner is looking to kind of spread some topsoil and a little bit of fill to the left of that to really level out their yard from everything that was washed away during the flood. And they were hoping to cover that as a revision to the originally approved minimal activity permit.
Okay, but they're really remediating damage that was caused by the flood, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They, provide you with the proper documentation?
Thank you. And do we have a
Site plan or
revision?
quantities involved or that sort of thing?
Oh man, I'm all messed up now. I do have some. Give me a second. Gotta find it
That's
through
okay,
here.
a yes or no answer is all right, you don't really have to dig for it if you don't want.
Of course I do.
She's very efficient. I'm sure she has it in there somewhere.
I'm sure she does.
Does that one happen to be the folder or the?
Community house? No.
Oh, it's right in front of me right here. So we do have a kind of site plan markup and some photos of the site as they are. I had walked the site with Mickey, who's the contractor. He is here today to answer any questions that we may have. But it's pretty straightforward here. We'll do some this way, some that way. To really understand the site and how impacted they were from the flood. They're just looking to get their grass backyard back.
That's put it mildly.
Is that
Yeah, it's just,
fill and
They're well away from the
topsoil
waterway.
gonna be brought in from off-site?
not all of it.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, that's just,
And certainly we would be within our 50, 100-foot
It
in
would
that
be.
area.
It
I
would
think
be.
everything is.
Yeah, it's all of it.
But in speaking with Mickey, you know, he'll be putting the proper erosion controls up to make sure nothing actually washes into the river before spreading anything. You know, hopefully getting it done soon so it could also go and spread some hydro seed there and get actually grass growing there, stabilizing that embankment would be
Any
much
idea
better.
where that fill material and topsoil would be coming from, or?
Mickey, do you mind stepping up to the podium to answer some of that?
Name is Mickey Ingracia. I'm a friend of Ernie Gavel's. The material that you're in question of is coming from the Waterbury gravel yard that's owned by H.I. Stone.
Okay. Yeah, whenever you're putting material back into a wetland review area, we like to make sure it's at least reputably clean.
It's-
I'm not gonna make you sample every 100 yards, but,
No, he doesn't deal with dirty material.
okay. As long as you're okay with that.
Absolutely, I stand by it.
the original permit was for a deck?
So the original permit that had been approved was to reinstall the wood deck that's at the rear of their house. And as part of that, it was installing sonotubes,
They were repairing the foundation too, I think,
Yeah,
right?
there was foundation
Those-
work. I mean, at some point, it washed away so much that the foundation was completely exposed, so they had come in, and as part of that deck repair, they also had addressed the structural concerns with the house, which was, backfilling some areas of holes that had come in. So that was what was covered under the original scope, so it was primarily around the house itself. And now they're looking to kind of level out their yard and get that back up to normal.
It's a mess, gotta fix it.
Well, yeah, I mean, judging from the photographs and where they're intending to do the work, I think we probably need more detail than what's
Okay.
been presented. Maybe some guidance from, an environmental firm, some sort of professional input on some of that. It is all in the flood area, so whatever you
It
put
just
there has
washed
a
away.
chance of disappearing again.
How to
Um,
anchor it.
Whether or not you need to bring material in or classify what's there and reuse it, I don't know the answer to that.
Well, in the area that I believe you're inquiring about, there's been so much loss of material through the flood process. There's really not a whole lot to be put back. So there's two piles that you should see in the photos that are there, and all I want to do is spread those out. I love the riverbed, and I've mentioned to Deandra and Mr. Gavel that I don't want to touch the riverbed or the water. I think it's beautiful, but the area that Mother Nature unfortunately took away, we just want to use that material that I have been able to get from H.I. Stone to bring the level up. It's still not bringing the yard to a flat plane, but it's at least giving it a little gentler of a slope. And then I need to bring in topsoil so that seed will grow.
Yeah, I don't think that part of it is gonna be an issue, at least for me. It's the pictures you have down in the brook, when you have one area designated as a future beach area. And I don't know what the other two are so that's we can't sort of like just say, yeah, okay, without having more specifics on what.
The reason I mentioned that as a future, let's call it a beach, is because I'm aware that that is the homeowner's property. And at which point, if he wants to make it a beach, he could make it a beach. It's almost there now. What's really ironic is when the state has recently come in, I don't know if you've seen the property, but they're working with the riverbed, and they cleared that area, and they established a gravel pad and some sort of black material on top of that gravel pad, which is quite hysterical to me, because once they do, if they're gonna erect something, then the homeowner beach idea is gone. If they do something temporary and they eventually take it away, they already did the work, so there's nothing for me to do. They did a gorgeous job at taking the 5 or 6 brush piles away, which I was in line to do. So it's no work for me and no cost to the homeowner who's had unmentionable expenses.
I think we're gonna have to be able to resolve this tonight. We need to look at the
Okay, really,
plans a little more closely and see if something else needs to be done.
okay, really
Not
what,
in any screaming rush, right?
I'd like to be able to spread the 2 piles, because that's the only thing left other than the
But
topsoil.
that's already there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Pilings are there.
I don't-
and it's
I
nowhere
personally
near
don't
the
have an
water.
issue with that at all. Bringing material in is a different issue.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the intention is to spread the piles and then topsoil over top of it,
That's all I want to do.
I think what we're trying to say is maybe hold off on the topsoil at this point, spread out what's there.
Okay,
And give us maybe a little better idea of where the
Yeah, how-
topsoil is gonna go and
Can I
just a
do
little
that?
more detail of what you're
Um,
planning on doing.
Would I be able to begin, because when I spread the topsoil, I go from the center of the job site outward, so I'm not going over it again and again. The other side of the property, from like from the deck uphill, which is farther away from that area, could I start the topsoil there and go uphill?
I think for the moment, let's not start the topsoil at all.
Okay,
Spread out the piles that are there,
Mhm.
cover up some of the rocks.
yep,
And
Yep.
let's talk about the topsoil with DeAndrea and give us, I think she can help you draft a little more detail
okay.
on where the other stuff's gonna go.
There's 4 rocks in question, which I'm willing to just let those go if you so wish. They're 4 rocks that I circled on the pictures that slid down the flood erosion bank. And if I can pick those out and put them as a border edge on the 4-foot drop-off, that would be a blessing.
Keep in mind, we do
That
have
actually might be a good idea.
a hiatus for next month. So depending on, we have a hiatus for next month, so depending on the
Right.
timelines.
Right, that's why I
Yeah,
was asking
so-
about timing.
Yeah, if I could do the 2 piles and the 4 boulders, that would be fine. And then we'll get to the topsoil, early September, hopefully.
Yeah, something along the lines of like a narrative of where the topsoil is gonna be, how you're gonna spread it, that sort of thing.
Where it's gonna
Yeah,
go.
wherever you're gonna get it, it's fine.
I know where I'm gonna get it. It would also be from H.I. Stone.
Yeah,
Just like to get it in
as part of your,
a little detail in
Permit.
writing
Yeah, absolutely.
on that.
Yeah,
Be
if
helpful.
you could help me out with that?
I personally think moving the rocks is okay.
I'm sorry?
I personally don't have an issue with moving those boulders around.
Yeah, it's only 4 of them.
They've already been moved.
Yeah.
It's not-
Oh, who knows how many houses upstream they came
Right.
from,
Exactly.
but,
They could have cut hundreds of yards.
yeah.
around them
just Probably washed did.
away.
Yeah.
You're probably right where they were. Is there gonna be any need for any sort of erosion control to do the work he wants to do now?
I would recommend that the silt fencing, Mickey, you and I had talked about that as part
Right.
of spreading this, just to prevent it, if it is washing down, the silt fencing will capture it. And there is room on that site to allow Mickey to do that work and still protect the embankment.
Yeah, if you
put
want,
it in once and it'll be there for your
The next
topsoil
phase.
operation as
oh,
well.
yeah, if you want me to do a silt fence, I'd be more than happy to do that. But I would like someone, maybe Deandra can tell me exactly where you want it to start and where you want it to end. Because it is a long footage of waterway.
Right, yeah.
I'd be happy to meet you back out on site, we can review it there.
Perfect.
Photos.
Okay, so we need a motion.
Could I just, is there a need to cross the stream bed?
No,
Okay, everything can be done
Absolutely
from,
not.
okay.
Nope.
All right, no problem. Sorry.
No, that's
Go
fine.
ahead.
Value your comments highly. Somebody want to phrase it? I guess we can make a motion to approve the redistribution of the dirt piles, relocation of the large boulders to act as reinforcing for the stream. I would like it, if you don't mind reviewing that with DeAndrea before it's
Absolutely.
done. And again, implementation of some stormwater control silt fence in particular
sure.
to minimize the likelihood of
Mhm.
any material getting into the stream.
Absolutely.
Need a second? Dan seconds.
I'll
All in
second that.
favor?
Aye.
So
Opposed?
this would be part
Motion
of that other
passes.
permit then?
That's, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much
It
for your
will.
time.
Just stay in touch with her. She's great. She'll help you out.
I could have told you that, but yes, it will.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's it.
Spence,
Yes.
so there's one more item on the agenda that is actually not on the agenda, but we have the homeowner for 294 Jeremy Swamp Road. This was a previously approved application from the flood damage, and he has the same thing as a permit revision. He did not provide any information to the office prior to this meeting, but he's here, and his neighbor, Mr. Achenbach, is also here.
Okay.
So
Here,
if
might
you
as well
want to
discuss it.
add that item to the agenda and hear, their
All right, let's add it to the agenda since they're here, and we will discuss the matter and see where we can go.
Okay.
I take it we don't have
Scott, go
anything
ahead.
in writing?
I'm sorry?
We have
Nothing in writing.
We don't have, yeah, I will add it to the agenda if you make a motion to add that to the
Very
agenda.
good.
A motion to add that to the agenda.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second
Make
it.
it.
You got a second?
Thank you. I'm Scott Meyer, I live at 294 Jeremy Swamp Road. We talked to a contractor about doing the work, and he proposed that he's gonna bring in the track mats that I believe were approved in the original application. He just says he's gonna put a machine by the water and then have a smaller machine bring the material in and out to that machine. And we also brought our neighbor with us, asked him if he could come with us, because some of the boulders that were approved, it's right on the property line, the area that is affected, so he may have to go onto his property with some of the boulder to protect that embankment. So kind of putting the ball in your court, asking for what you suggest we do. You know where we're at. We had our application approved, and we're here for like an amendment that would grant the contractor permission to get, up to the stream bed and set the boulders.
I mean, in the past, haven't we had the neighbor write a letter into the commission saying that they can access that?
Procedurally, Dan will have to handle this a little bit differently because the neighbor actually has a wetlands permit as well. So
Okay.
we'll almost be providing 2 permit revisions.
2 amendments?
That will work in conjunction, but we'll have to revise both applications to expand on this opportunity. We've all seen the site. The area where the property boundary hits is kind of the most crucial area of erosion, with those 2 houses on that steep bank being at risk if that continues to erode. So the synergy of the enforcement makes complete sense for that site, as well as being able to only access with 1 machine rather than accessing across the wetlands on Mr. Meyer's property and Mr. Achenbach's property.
Sure.
Furthermore, the original conversation at that site visit was, I believe it was Mr. Bennett felt he needed to enter the water course. It's my understanding that that doesn't need to happen because he's gonna deposit a large machine at the edge of the water and use the smaller machine to deliver material. That way, that boom will be able to extend beyond the water course, so no influence in the water course. So we're just modifying the application to include more reinforcing on both of those 2 properties. Is that correct?
Sounds quite reasonable. We just need to get it written up.
Scott, is that correct?
That's a proposed plan, yeah.
Okay? That sounds reasonable. We do need to get something in writing that we can
From-
formally approve.
With both permits,
For
I would
both,
imagine,
yes.
right?
Are you guys looking to get that in writing and look to receive that formally at the September meeting? Do we want him to quickly write something up in respect to this? What are you guys looking to do as far as the timeline for the next couple of meetings?
That makes it harder. I imagine you want to get this done this summer.
Correct. He was, Mr. Bennett mentioned aiming for like towards the end of August when,
Yeah, so we need to do something, either a special
Tonight.
meeting or something. We don't, see, what can we do?
I don't know, I missed some of that. So he's requesting to put some stones which may go onto the adjacent property, is that one
Well,
of them?
they are going to go on the
Okay.
neighbor's property. The neighbor is
To move
here.
them.
If we just have a letter from the neighbor, doesn't that kind
Well,
of,
the neighbor has a permit too, so we need to modify his permit
For the placement of the stones
to
on his
allow the
property.
placement of the stones. That permit application will be his consent to that being done.
he has a permit to do that Riverbank.
Yeah, but not for that, I don't know what the permit says. It probably does not accommodate this rock, does it?
Is it possible to just make a motion to amend the permit with the letters pending?
Subject to
Subject
receipt
to
of
review.
site plan for both properties and
reviewed by the
subject to
enforcement officer. Yeah,
letters
that's
being
quite
supported.
doable.
Yeah.
May as well do that.
Okay.
As long as everyone's okay with that, we'll vote,
Someone other than me needs to articulate that, because like Carl, I did not hear all of it.
Okay. So, I make a motion to amend the 2 permits for the citizens who were here today. Jeremy Swamp Road, so that they can move the boulders that they've mentioned so that they can further armor the banks to protect the steep slope. But it's with the condition that they provide the neighbors' permission and that they provide a modified site plan showing which boulders and where they're gonna go.
And modifying we don't need to do anything about they're staying out of the water, so we don't need to modify that.
We could put a modification in there that would accommodate the staging of the machinery on this little
would like-
island
I would like to
inlet.
do
You
that.
got it.
And then the whole thing's subject to review by the enforcement officer to make sure it's all appropriate.
Scott?
They were
I know that's a
already-
little vague,
They were already
guys.
talking about doing the matting and everything, so I don't know what the change was there.
So the matting was for one property address.
Oh.
And then the second one, there's this nice, easily accessible, flat parcel of land.
Yeah.
So in order to kind of tag team these two applications into one
Okay.
and complete application one and complete application two on the same time
I
by
gotcha.
staging the large machinery on the neighbor's property
Oh, I get it.
and moving everything from there.
Okay.
And it keeps the equipment out of the stream,
Correct.
so, good
I'll
stuff all
second
around.
the motion.
It's a win-win.
Poorly worded, though we made it.
For the record, Scott, can you please just name both addresses that we're discussing here during this meeting?
Our address is 294 Jeremy Swamp, and number 308.
308. Okay, so motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, no opposition, motion passes.
Thank you.
We will need to get written consents and all that stuff, but
We'll follow up after, absolutely.
yes, talk with her and him and her.
Nice
Thank
and
you very
said.
much. Is anything else, Sonia, that we need to discuss?
No, we can adjourn.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn in that case.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody wants to stay. Thank you very much. Motion passes.
So I think I had some of the originals.
Good idea, Joe.
Busy night.
So everything was actually separated, and those were all copies. We've got everything in the
I started getting
It's up
all
to
these
you.
emails.
What do you want to do with it after?
I'm going, wait a minute, I never got anything
Fire
from
starter.
Sonia saying that to the
It's been Tuesday for,
Well, I still want to take a look at the river.